What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video, and we're going to be talking about the UFC Fight Night, Gane versus Spivak. Just happened yesterday. I watched the entire card from the first second to the last, so I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the fights, and yeah, we'll just talk about the whole card in general. Before I move on, though, again, sorry for the inconsistency. I don't know why, but the last few fight nights, I just haven't felt compelled to post, and I was so salty about my Sterling pick being wrong, which I know everyone picks Sterling, so we all feel stupid, but I mean, it is what it is. All right, I'm here now, and and I picked Max Holloway, just like everyone picked Max Holloway, so I didn't even really have much to say there, other than it was a stunning one-punch KO from Max Holloway, which doesn't really happen. All right, anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about, guys. Surgical Ciryl Gane claims another patient. Okay, he broke Spivak's rib, and the reason I say surgical is because that's the way I describe this guy's striking. Whenever I'm talking about him to a non-MMA fan, I tell them, look, this guy moves like a welterweight, and he picks his shots so well. He's like a surgeon with the accuracy, okay? So that's why I'm calling him Surgical Ciryl. And yeah, like I said, he broke Spivak's rib, and Spivak just really didn't have much of anything for him, to be honest. Ciryl Gane barely got hit, and kind of exposed Spivak as a one-trick pony. If he can't get his body lock and takedown, his single leg is not too effective. His double leg, I don't think he even got to a double leg on Gane. I know he got to a single leg, but none of those takedowns were effective. I think the way he usually gets guys down is with a body lock or a trip, and he simply couldn't get close enough to Ciryl Gane to do that, because every time he did, man, Ciryl would pepper him with a stinging shot. And I don't think that this was as good of a performance as the Tuivasa one, because the Tuivasa one, man, that's what made me give him the name Surgical. Do you guys remember that sequence in that fight where he threw like 3 body kicks in a row and they all landed? Like, we never had anything crazy like that, but don't get me wrong, he looked great out there. He's definitely the best heavyweight striker. Anyways, I'm not gonna keep this up forever. Let's go talk about this whole card, okay? Starting off with the first fight on the card, Zarafan versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I didn't have a pick in this fight. I don't really care, but man, this Cavalcanti girl won really easily. From what I know, Farron hasn't won a fight in a long time, so maybe it's time to hang it up. I don't know. Not much to say there. Great performance. Not great performance. Not a boring fight, but I watched it. Farid Basharat versus Rodriguez. This is exactly what I expected to happen. It seems like people don't know where to stand with these Basharat brothers. Some people overrate them, and then some people say they're underrated. You know what I mean? But he had a great performance in there tonight, and it's so tough because he's a bantamweight, but I mean, definitely keep an eye on him as a future prospect. Nora Cornoli versus Jocelyn Edwards. Was this a robbery? I don't remember. I think this one was a bit of a robbery, actually. I remember they said the decision, and I was like, all right, that's weird. I can't tell you anything about the fight, though, other than I watched it. Okay, Angelusa versus Reese McKee. I was rooting for Reese McKee just because, he's had a rough start in the UFC. You gotta fight Khamzat Chimaev. It's tough. But Angelusa got the win. They both looked super close to finishing the fight. And I wouldn't have been surprised if they called this a draw. Now, it wasn't a draw. Because, I just think that the way you could have given... I don't know how to describe what I'm thinking, man, but it depends on if you give out 10-8s and to who. I wouldn't have been surprised to see a draw, but a 30-27 for Angelusa is absolutely ridiculous. I know one judge gave it that, so tough for Reese McKee. I don't know where you really go from here. That was a good fight, though, so hopefully, they give him one more. All right, Taylor Lapillus versus Callan Loughran. I'm just going to say Loughran. So I didn't know who this Lochran guy was, but apparently he was talking a ton of smack. I don't know. And then I know this guy's gotta let that hairline go. But yeah, you know, maybe I was watching something totally different, but I thought this was a really close fight, like a really competitive fight, and I honestly was, I expected it to go to this guy, but I would have been like split decision maybe. But who knows? Maybe looking at the numbers here. Okay, never mind. I guess looking at the numbers, it's a little different, but yeah, this was a good fight. And oh man, something I'm just gonna add right now. The crowd throughout the whole card was insane. These French fighters on these early prelim fights, they were getting like champion ovations. It was insane. So yeah, that was a really good fight. Now on to Morgan Charrier versus Manolo Zucchini. That's what I was calling him. This was a pretty quick fight. Not too much to say other than, you know, Charrier just hurt Zucchini quick to the body and got him out of there. That's really all there is to it. And he looked good. And yeah, another French guy who got an insane pop from the crowd. All right, William Gomez versus Giannis Gamori. Guys, this was a weird fight. Not only did it suck, and it was boring the whole time, and it probably would have gone to William Gomez anyway, but the ref makes an absolute diabolical call. If you guys watch the card, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Gamori gets low blowed, and then, you know, tries to step back for the ref to pause the fight, and the next thing he knows, the ref just waves it off. Absolutely ridiculous decision from the ref. I feel really bad for this guy. Yeah, you know, I don't think any of that was justifiable. I think that was all bad, and I don't think that ref should ever work again. So that's what I think. Yeah. Anyways, Volkan Oezdemir versus Bogdan Guskov. Okay, congrats Volkan Oezdemir getting the win here. I picked him. I did a 4-fight parlay these last 4, and I'll tell you guys how it went after this. But yeah, you know, Volkan Oezdemir, again, really not much to say here, man. He looked great. Of course, this was a debutee, so, you know, it's kind of easy to look good against someone who's making their debut, but, you know, still, good job, Oezdemir. He looked really good, got the first round submission, and he absolutely nailed him with a hook first. That, like, I think caused the knockdown, and then he just kind of pushed, I think he just pushed him to the ground, and then he got the choke with no hesitation. I remember the second he locked it up, the dude was tapping. I was like, wow. So, good job, Oezdemir. Good to see you back in the win column, bruh. Damn, look at this fool. Yeah, alright. Now, Benoit Saint Denis versus Thiago Moises. This was such a great fight. I'm glad this got fight of the night. Maybe I would have preferred performance for Saint Denis and then fight of the night go to Lusa and McKee, but it's all good. Okay. Benoit Saint Denis, guys. This is a character we're gonna have to start paying attention to in the lightweight division. He's had some amazing performances recently, and he's super entertaining. And this fight was a perfect example of how he does it. He went in there and got the TKO. Moises, fair play to him. He put up a way better fight than I had thought. I was expecting like a round 1 sub or a round 2 sub. Now Saint Denis got it done in the second round, but it was competitive up until then. And there were some moments where, you know, Moises would swing at him, and I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, I thought he was going out. So it was a very fun, competitive, good fight. Not too competitive, but like Moises did better than I had expected. And yeah, guys, keep an eye on Benoit Saint Denis. I think he's a guy worth having some stock in. Okay, now, oh yeah, and this was my pick, so I'm 2 for 2 on my parlay, and I can prove it if you guys want to see my verdict. Okay, because my next one was Manon Fiorot by decision. Okay, I went 3 for 3 so far on the parlay. over Rose Namajunas. I just think Rose is a mental case. I think she's checked out, and I think she just I think she took this fight to have a trip to Paris with Pat Barry, you know what I mean? And I think that's genuinely what I think, man. Nothing crazy went on in this fight, you know. It was kind of boring. There was a brutal head clash which caused a huge cut on Fiorot, and yeah, of course no knockdowns, of course no takedowns. It's a women's fight. It's okay. But yeah, I think Rose should probably just retire. Either retire or, you know, fire Pat Barry as a coach and go get better, you know, because I don't want to say she looked terrible, but I think she'd benefit from a new gym, and I think she'd benefit from staying out of this weight class. She is not a flyweight. So yeah, alright, and then guys, my main event pick was correct. Okay, I got the round wrong. I was picking a round 3, but I went 4 for 4 on my parlay on this card. I didn't pick any other fight on here, but yeah, Ciryl Gane. I mean, I kind of talked about it when I was showing you guys this, but he looked absolutely great out there. 110 strikes in the first round, I mean, and then 52 in the second before the stoppage. Ciryl Gane is an absolute master on the feet, and you know, I really don't understand how people were picking Spivak here. When I look at Spivak compared to Gane, all I see is another plotty, fat, unathletic heavyweight. There's a ton of them in the UFC. I think there's 30 heavyweights in the UFC, and I think 15 of them are fat, plotty old men. And some of them are in the rankings, like this guy. You know, he made it past the other fat, plotty men, but then you fight an actual athlete with some real skill and some real speed and is a lean guy, and then you have some problems. So I really don't see how anyone was picking Spivak here. Geez, Lucas Tracy, bro. That was tough, man. I watched your live. I watched you get it wrong live. It was just funny as fuck. But yeah, Ciryl Gane looks absolutely great. And you know what? I wasn't saying this before, but I'll say it now. Maybe still has future champion potential. I mean, he's young. I think he's like 33. He's got to get out of France, though. I'll stand by that all day. Does look like he can be a future champion, but I think he's got to do some training in America. I'd like to see him train at. I'd like to see him train at AKA. I'd like that, and I'd also like Extreme Couture. I think those are both great gyms that can help him with his wrestling, and they have great training partners there. So yeah, guys, I went 4 for 4 on the fights I picked here. This was a good card overall. Some weird moments like the groin shot TKO, you know, and what else was weird? Oh, the 30-27 on this fight, you know, some funky business. But I mean, what's a UFC card without some funky business? It was good overall, and yeah, Strickland's gonna beat Izzy, guys. Have a good day.